And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us here for another live episode of Conversations with Michael. And of course, we're streaming live from our own home studio in the beautiful Willamette Valley here in the state of Oregon. And we're streaming to all of our Facebook pages. Welcome all of you that are watching us from there. Our YouTube channel, and welcome to all of you. And of course, here on Vimeo's channel and in our own website, where the vast majority of you are most comfortable watching this. If those of you that are on our website would like to interact with other people during this stream, then I recommend you check out one of our Facebook pages. Let's take a deep breath here. Moving into some really good uplifting energies here today. We're really enjoying what feels like the last bit of summer with highs in the upper 90s. A little hot for this area, but the nights are, well, they're slowly beginning to cool down, so it makes for a very comfortable sleep. You know, Coco and I have called Oregon home for the last 48 years. If you're into nature, this is just a very incredible and beautiful place to live. We feel blessed to be able to call this home. So let's take that collective deep breath as we all allow all the support that is being freely shared by both our non-physical friends and with each other. Very good. Very good. And as we always do, we invite all of you to just take a moment here to feel into the quality of this support. Yes, we've always felt it from our non-physical counterparts, but to feel it now between each other as fellow human beings, well, this is really new. Feel the sacredness of the circle every time we do come together like this circle of an energy that has been missing on this planet for a very long time. Allow this support to deeply touch your own heart, your own mind, and of course these beautiful physical bodies. Very good. Very good. We hope that no matter where you call home, you're enjoying this very unique opportunity that is presenting itself to all of us at this time, because these are indeed extraordinary times we are living in. Our primary service is to those that know that this is their last lifetime on this beautiful planet. For all its beauty, living on Earth as a human being can be a really intense experience. Michael has consistently stated that Earth represents the pinnacle of all of creation. That didn't go over so well when he first introduced that. But he insists that it offers the highest potential in all of creation to inhabit fully conscious human beings. Now I get it, it's hard to see that at ground level, so to speak. But even within the last few days, maybe some of you have noticed that Earth itself is also resetting its own energy to accommodate what we are allowing. Because it is here that we brought with us, as soul beings, our own galactic story. One that was beginning to deny the creative flow of life itself, played out in slow motion inside of this physical reality, to see if we could discover a solution to both our individual and our collective story. Now as creators, living outside what has been called the kingdom. I've been serving the teachings of Michael in this manner for the last 30 years. And I've witnessed thousands of people go through their own whole awakening process, followed by what we call the integration of the soul. But I've never witnessed what I'm seeing this year. This is new. It's like watching the layers of an onion being peeled, one bubble of perception at a time. Let's take a breath there. There exists such a sincere devotion to allowing the soul's presence to now be at the front of your own life. And I find that actually quite remarkable, stunning. I'm not only witnessing this in our most popular program, the iSpirit program, but I'm seeing this in all of our workshops, all of our classes, all of my private sessions. I don't think I've ever been so excited to share my relationship with Michael as I'm feeling that right now. Because as we peel away those layers, all those filters that cloud our own perception, we get closer and closer to experiencing our own sovereign nature. It really doesn't matter what stage you might feel you're at in your own life right now, in relationship to being fully conscious. The potential for becoming fully conscious this year and during these next couple of years, it's really hard to ignore. So your human self, it would have to push back really hard for it not to become realized. All of you can also feel that it's really, really important, perhaps more than any other time, to really start to live your life consciously, to take full responsibility, not for the world outside of you, but for your own inner reality. What others might call an enlightened human being, we prefer to just call it being fully conscious. It removes some of those preconceived ideas of what an enlightened human is supposed to look like, behave like. That's not to say anyone who calls himself enlightened from our perspective is wrong. I've just never met an enlightened human who wants to be recognized as being enlightened. So we've gone through 3 different versions of Earth. The Lemurian Age, the times of Atlantis, and this current experience. All created from our soul's perspective to reclaim what we felt we had lost. Our sovereignty. Our sovereignty represents our true freedom. This thing called freedom, well, of course it means different things to different people. And for the longest time, it had more to do with what others were doing to us than what we were allowing. Let's take another breath there. Because that represents a true turning point in the history of all of creation. All of us have experienced lifetime after lifetime what it feels like when you lack certain basic qualities that deny you the right to choose the quality of your own experience. But along the way, there were some who shifted their own perspective. One that would have us believe that our freedom was being denied from something outside of us. That can be a hard thing to acknowledge if you're in the middle of being disrespected or abused from a variety of outside influences. So a few had the courage to explore their own inner reality, just to see if perhaps, just perhaps, we are actually attracting the very unfulfilling experiences to us. It takes a lot of courage to go within. But if freedom is truly our calling, it became very, very important for us to find the real cause of all the pain and suffering that has become the norm for the quality of life on this planet. The one known as Buddha, and after him, Yeshua. They've received most of the headlines as it relates to transcending this story, but there have been many others who were never recognized. Ones that shared this same passion for taking that deep dive into their own self. It's the same passion I can feel in all of you who are watching here today. And we are, of course, talking to those of you that have been at the forefront of this change of consciousness for a very, very long time. Well, I know there are days when you feel completely exhausted from all the internal housekeeping. There are days when you wonder if the very passion that you've trusted maybe has led you astray. But in this lifetime, there are millions of soul beings who knew this lifetime was perhaps the most important lifetime they have ever experienced. It was time to place all of your hopes and dreams on this passion for being free. And so we did. And it has taken many forms, both individually in the form of different groups. But what remains from that original group of millions that incarnated on this planet with the same passion for wanting to discover our freedom, our sovereignty? It's now in the thousands left standing. Because this is a really tough place. So many distractions on a daily basis. We like how Yeshua stated to live on this planet, but not to be of it. And that holds true even today, 2,000 years later. And today, as we speak, something quite profound has shifted in relationship to this underlying freedom. There are now more human beings than ever before who now are aware of where this freedom actually resides, conscious of how to experience it, and for many, choosing to continue to experience it in a physical body while living here on earth. It's such a gift we have given to ourselves. It truly is. Such compassion to be willing to share with our human family, the very core of who we truly are, without the need for any kind of recognition. So those that we are speaking of have their own unique relationship and experience with this newfound freedom. Our passion is to continue to support you, no matter where you find yourself in relationship to the whole peeling process of that onion, which actually represents the peeling of so many illusions. So on that note, thank you for allowing me, Robert, to share my perspective and for being with me here today. I can feel the energy of all of you, and it's just an honor for me to be connected to you in this way. But before I turn this over to Michael, let's take a few moments to watch a short video. It's only a minute and a half of some of our upcoming live events in service to your freedom. Very good. And of course, if you'd like more information on any of those live events, just visit our website, theteachingsofmichael.com, and feel free to explore what's being offered there. We also presented a live in-studio class last month titled The Human Served You. And based on the feedback we received from those who participated in that class, well, we highly recommend it, even without their feedback, but we really do highly recommend it. We appreciate all those that participated in the live version, but it's also available now in our own in-studio class page on the Masters Unplugged page. So, last month actually represented a major shift for a lot of people. And we noticed that for a lot of you that are also participating with other teachers, other groups, something shifted in August. It felt really good. It feels really good right now. Something a little more clean for us to coexist within. So right now that class is only available to monthly subscribers of the Masters Unplugged program. We're offering, though, a special discount for the first month just to see if it just might be your own cup of tea. But let's take a quick peek at the video sampler from that class. So, what is the human to do with all the preparation that has already been done? You prepared the soil. You planted the seed with Yeshua 2,000 years ago. Now what? Now it's time to relax and to water your garden, to water your life, but now with your own presence. Let's take a deep breath there. Imagine the energetic presence of you watering you. Let's just sit here for a moment and feel into that. Aren't you actually ready for this? If you're feeling a lack of anything whatsoever in your life, relax. Don't ask your mind to try to figure it out. Relax and water your garden. Water your life with your own presence. That's the only thing that's missing. And then the seeds that you have planted, they will and can grow. Whatever seeds you've planted as a creator. Take another deep breath. Just breathe here for a minute because, dear friends, this is so vital. We can't go forward. You can't go forward unless you're consciously watering your own life with your own presence. And like a lot of you, I too have experienced both the bliss and ecstasy as well as all that heartache within all the challenges that are, well, they end up becoming a natural part of being human. We're changing that, are we not? So if I could do it again, despite the many, well, what should we call them, blunders I've made along the way, I wouldn't change anything. Not one single thing. The integration, at least from my perspective, is a beautiful, ongoing experience that has literally no end to it. I'm well aware that it can be a little disappointing to that human part that likes to create goals and loves to create completion dates, to be able to declare that finally, now I can state I'm enlightened. But the truth is, all of us were also enlightened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 50 years ago. We just forgot how to allow that version of us into this linear timeline. Why? Well, we all got hypnotized by time and space. All of you were seduced by time and space. All of you also got kind of addicted to being prepared. It would be like preparing your garden for, 20 or 30 years before you even planted a seed. There's only so much compost that can be turned before it becomes something else altogether. And so you kept adding more compost or creating more garden spots. We're here to tell you you're good to go. No, it's not time for liftoff. That would be the old pattern for ascending. Just relax. Just relax. The timing that we speak of is actually outside of the control of your mind. That's why you're feeling the frustration. The frustration being the emotion connected to your mind. It feels out of control. How's it going to manage something it doesn't know is even real? This timing is totally up to your soul. When your soul is actually ready to take that deep dive into your physical body, to penetrate your body with its entirety, well, you'll know it. You'll know it. Ask Robert. It doesn't need to be a blast of energy. In fact, it can actually be a very slow type of descent. Some of you here today, you know very well what I'm referring to. We want to acknowledge here today that some of you are actually feeling a little disappointed that things haven't changed in relationship to whatever it is you are lacking. We want to acknowledge that for some of you, you feel that at this stage of your life, at this stage of your own awakening, of your own mastery, you are expecting more of everything. Better health, more stable emotional well-being, of course, more money, more fulfilling intimate relationships with other like-minded human beings. In general, just more freedoms. You feel this in part because you know you can have all of that on our side of the veil. Not quite in the same way, but pretty close to some of these other versions of Earth. So what keeps you here? What motivates you to get up out of the bed each day? The next series of Netflix? Really? Really? Or is there also something stirring in your heart? You can feel it right now. Maybe your human part just doesn't know what it is. It's also stirring a little below your heart, in your solar plexus. Something there that's just pulsating to its own rhythm. Envision some of those beautiful African dances where they are just pulsating to a particular type of rhythm, to a sound. Something there. Something there that has its own passion. And very good. Kind of weird watching a video of yourself while you're also doing this, but highly recommend checking that out. Just go to our website and click on the Masters Unplugged page. If you feel drawn to it, you're welcome to join as a monthly subscriber and have unlimited access to all the video libraries, including all the in-studio classes. And finally here, we're now accepting registration for the upcoming iSpirit 2 course. This course is offered once a year, and iSpirit 1 represents the 6-month course that begins in April of every year. iSpirit 2 is a 3-month version of that. It's a little different, perhaps a little more intense than the 6-month course, but it also is our most popular course that we offer. It's created to serve those that are fully committed to allowing the presence of their own soul to be present in their day-to-day reality as a conscious creator of your own experience. It's not required that any of you have participated in the iSpirit 1 course, and it begins on December 18th and goes through March, including a live group session at the end of the course. And of course, the moment you sign up for anything that we do, you're also giving Michael permission to begin to work with you consciously. We received a lot of interesting emails over the years describing how that feels to a lot of different people. So the cost of the course also includes 3 private 30 or 60-minute sessions with Michael, depending on which plan you choose. And of course, we also offer a no-interest monthly payment plan. Class size is limited for first-time participants, but all past attendees are welcome. We posted quite a number of reviews from some of the past attendees to help all of you get a better feel for what you're choosing to experience in this program. It's not for everyone, and we like to keep it small so it maintains a more personal feeling. Feel free to visit the iSpirit 2 page on our website for more information. I want to thank all of you again here for being here today. It's such an honor for me to be of service in this way, and such a joy for me to share the relationship I have with that part of me that I also am, Michael. Let's take another deep breath as I turn this over to him. A relationship that I gladly share, and one that I continue to proclaim is available to anyone. Indeed it is. Indeed, it is I, Michael. And thank you, Robert, for allowing me to share this experience with you. We are well aware that by claiming that this relationship is indeed available to anyone, it places us outside the collective consciousness of most of humanity, well, at least 99%. We'll take that as a compliment, indeed, because the vast majority of human beings have been in a type of shutdown mode long before this current virus. You simply can't live your life without feeling any passion and expect to also feel fulfilled. And if you do, you risk entering into a type of robotic state of consciousness, hypnotized by those underlying patterns of behavior. Freedom, dear ones, as all of you have already discovered, doesn't exist in such a condition. And if any being grows comfortable in such a state, it truly represents a type of retreat from the free-flowing nature of life itself. Let's take a breath there. We understand that for some, it is the only way to deal with whatever abuse they have endured. For others, they actually prefer that their life be managed by others outside of themselves. But there is another way, one that represents a quality of support that is unknown to most human beings. And because of that, it has been dismissed as not being real. So today is a very special day for all of us. We have the honor of serving such a courageous group of souls that have embraced this human experience for the most part with all your heart. All of you would be the first to admit that becoming fully conscious required of you to make some really bold choices. You had to step out of a collective story that exists both on and off of this planet. Within that choice, you discovered a new love for life, one that started with loving you first. A quality of love that simply could not be contained inside what you have known to be true. The joy that many of you now feel is a byproduct of loving yourself as you have never loved before, whether that be here on earth or in any other reality. So today, we want to revisit a few of those choices, simply to acknowledge, to commend, and to thank you for your courage, but to also leave behind for future generations something for them to chew on, if indeed they find themselves in a similar place as all of you. So the very idea of creating a new story, well, that sounds really enticing. I mean, what human doesn't get excited by the release of a new movie? But the story that we are referring to isn't about just adding a new chapter to your own book of life. One that, for the most part, has supported itself by feeling disconnected from consciousness itself. So you made a really bold choice to allow the very presence of your own soul nature to now be in your life. Most of you discovered and are still feeling that isn't necessarily a good fit in your old book. So what did you do? Well, you decided it deserves a new book. That doesn't mean you have to throw away your old story completely. But we've noticed with a lot of you, the deeper you dive into living inside this new book, the less time you spend reading the old one, until a point comes in your life where you almost forget it completely. Why? Because anything disconnected from consciousness no longer appears real to you. Another breath there. Another breath. Let's explore a little bit how you got here, in support of all those that would like to join you. So, in no particular order, most of you experienced at one point during your life a true passion for being human. Maybe you felt this during your childhood, or perhaps it occurred while playing in nature. What you weren't feeling from other human beings, you were feeling in nature itself. And we would say that this underlying passion for this human experience allowed you to endure some of the challenges you faced along the way. For many of you, reclaiming this passion as an adult, it didn't come easy. You had grown tired of all the drama connected to the human affairs, which embraced another essential quality, a willingness to change. The elements on this planet, they offer a very primal experience by using the change of seasons and your resistance to these changes. Many of you turn to your native elders to help guide you through that resistance, seeing how change is absolutely necessary for the basic survival of all of life on this planet and beyond. In fact, in relationship to why all of you are here on this planet, change was required. This planet would not have been created if not for the need for change. Individually, all of you have faced so many changes over the last 20 or 30 years that you started to actually befriend it, change itself. Oh, well, you also cursed it a few times, but you started to trust that change actually does improve your life. Speaking of change, what were some of the ingrained perceptions that were the most difficult to let go of? Well, the original perception that you, human being, are somehow separate from your soul and your eternal self. Well, that hurts. Indeed, it does. That truly hurts. And to transcend that illusion, you had to embrace some of your human misconceptions. The need to be right by making others wrong has always served as a huge distraction and a major addiction. The need to be right by making others wrong. We see this playing out in so many ways, and in a way it's disappointing how it plays out between all the spiritual groups and individuals who hold their truth to be true to themselves. It took a while to become conscious of how that attitude actually kept your freedom outside of you. You had to release your connection to your parents, your friends, political parties, government, and most of all, religious institutions. Because let's be honest, it was kind of fun blaming others for whatever you felt you were lacking. For some of you, that wasn't as hard as your need to defend a particular spiritual perspective. It was a little confusing for some of you that like to defend the teachings of Michael in relationship to any other perspective, when our response to that was, what a complete waste of time and energy. I'll say it here again today. If Robert were ever to declare that we are the real truth, I'd recommend to all of you to run like hell. Indeed. Because looking through the eyes of spirit is like looking through a kaleidoscope. There are endless versions of any particular perspective. But to experience that, you had to allow that part of you to also look through your human eyes. We're still working with a lot of you with that. And we'll continue working with that because it changes everything. So you discovered what it feels like to be what? a non-reactionary human being, which of course has a certain benefit to you, that if you were in that non-reactionary place, you discovered that it allows you to transcend duality itself. Another breath. That doesn't mean you don't care about others or that you lack a feeling for others. Quite the opposite. It's because you now feel everything in this non-reactionary version of you. You need to be a little more discerning about the quality of energy you want to play with, which means you had to stop taking what others might say about you personally. Are we done with that, dear ones? Stop taking what others say about you personally. Who gives a rat's ass what anybody thinks about you? You realize they were just looking for energy. They were looking for your energy. That choice created a new sense of how you did or didn't value your own energy. We, of course, recommended that you begin to value it as if it were the most priceless thing in all of creation. That choice created what we refer to as being divinely selfish. We had to put that word divine in front of selfishness because you saw it kind of as an ego thing. But it's so much more than that. It gave you permission, perhaps for the first time, to love yourself more than anything else. Because if you don't, who will? Who will? Oh, we know. You tried and tried to get others to appreciate your own uniqueness. And how did that go? For some of you now, how's that going right now? Yes, we know. It seems to be never ending. So stop it. Stop it. Become divinely selfish and put all your time and energy into you. That is how humanity will be served. It's a game most of humanity is still playing, making others feel responsible for how they feel, primarily unconsciously. If only someone would just love me, then I'd feel better about me. And if you can't find another human being to do that for us, then let's look into the stars and see what we can find by demonstrating first that here on Earth that we do appear to whatever is out there in the stars to be truly lovable. So, yes, time for a water break. I'd stay here just for the water. I think I will. Indeed. So the biggest shift on this planet relates to not allowing your own presence to support your own life. This isn't good news if you're still playing victimhood. And yes, we've heard all the stories that defend how some feel about their life. But with this group, we finally turned the corner. Going forward, it will become even more difficult to support your life if you're feeling it's difficult now, if you're not allowing the presence of your soul to actually, in a tangible way, support you. No matter how hard you might try, and let's be honest, all of you have spent a great deal of time and energy trying to support yourself while feeling separate from the real, non-physical you. Luckily for you, compassion is your saving grace. Unfortunately, sympathy will bring you to your knees and stop the flow of whatever you've created from a state of compassion, beginning with feeling that for you. We get it. All of you have been through a tremendous amount. It's just amazing to us to watch what you've endured and to still be here. Your life was turned upside down, well, in order to shake out what no longer served you. So we want to thank you for your service to this freedom today. Truly, we are honored. You are a living example of how to allow your true self to be present. It's actually one of the most graceful examples we've ever witnessed. And we've never witnessed this by such a large group. Believe me when I say we've seen a lot of really bad soap operas. So now, what you choose to do with this freedom, your sovereignty, well, you've got all of creation watching you. We know you didn't want your new story, this new movie, to be the most popular movie in all of creation, but it's become that. And it's because you're not looking for that recognition and you're so, in a way, humble about this, passionate about this, that you're okay with it. And for those of you that need a little more time to adjust to such a freedom, we've got your back. We're not going anywhere. This isn't a race. We've got your back. Going forward, the integration of your soul continues to deepen and deepen. You will know without a doubt when you are at your core. You know, you've heard us say it many times now. You, dear ones, have a lot to look forward to. We're not saying that to pump your self-esteem. We're saying that because we can see your potentials. You can feel it too. Take a deep breath. Feel into the current energy you're in right now. And just imagine the potentials for you by being true to your own presence, your own self, which would ask of you to don't let those doubts and concerns continue to create any more drama in your life. It's a waste of your own time and energy. Going forward, you have nothing to lose that wasn't already wanting to leave your life. And you have everything to gain simply because you're now allowing what has always been yours to receive. Yes, Robert's asking, could I say that again? You have nothing to lose that wasn't already wanting to leave your life. And you have everything to gain simply because you are now allowing what has always been yours to receive. Relax, my friends. Step into the river of life and enjoy the ride of your life. The rest will take care of itself. Indeed it will. You have my promise. And of course, you always have my blessings. Beautiful time, my friends. This is your time. This is your movie. We're all watching in honor. And we're honored to be able to support you. Indeed, all my blessings.